What's going on, guys? It's Cimo. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and most importantly, Happy New Year, since I am uploading this video on January 1st of 2024. Hope you all had a wonderful holiday, either with yourselves, with your family, your friends, whoever you chose to spend it with. I hope it was a really good time. So recently, I've been spending the holiday season reflecting back on just everything that's gone on throughout my YouTube channel, because it's crazy that I've been on YouTube now for almost 10 years. I think I made my channel at the beginning of 2014, or I may have started posting content and towards the first third of 2014. It may have been like March or April, if I recall correctly. And I'm just thinking back of the whole trajectory and history of my channel and how we sort of got to be where we are in the first place. And that sort of had me ruminating on what I want to see for the channel in 2024. It's crazy to think that sort of the foundation, the current foundation anyway, of the channel has been, the progression series and then all the other respective spin-off series that sort of form this like Netflix style of content that basically became the cornerstone of my channel for the past several years. It's been almost 4 years since Progression Series, Season 1 for that matter, started. And then after that, we had History of Yu-Gi-Oh!, History of Jank, Sealed Showdown, we had Auction Series, we had Sealed Saturday. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on of all the different series that we decided to pursue. And, some are still going, some aren't, and that's just the nature of content creation. But I was really just thinking about how I wanted the channel to look moving forward and if I wanted to continue pursuing that path. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love making content. That's not what this is about in the slightest. It's more about how I want the content to either evolve or what I want to make for content moving forward. This is a pretty raw video, so I apologize if my thoughts are going to be a bit jumbled and out of place. But in any case, while I've enjoy making content, that hasn't changed, I still feel as though I'm either compelled or inspired for the new year to sort of change things up a bit. Now, not in like a radical sense. I don't want you all to worry that, we're going to be just departing from all the content that you know and love from this point. We're still going to be having some of the series that we still have ongoing, but it's more so the fact of what else can we do? And maybe that's taking a step back to our roots and sort of how we got into this position where we made all this other competitive style content. Or maybe it's transitioning into something else entirely, because there's so many just different facets of Yu-Gi-Oh! That we can explore together and we can make content out of. And I think as I've taken the time to think about how I feel about my content and my channel and just YouTube as a whole, I think one of the things I realized that ever since we've sort of transitioned into just becoming all like the 6 series channel, or like the channel that's just nothing but series, I sort of just miss talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! With all of you guys, just starting the discussion about whatever it is, whether it's a macro level or micro level thing, whether it's, the state and health of the game versus like, something as simple as, new card releases. I sort of just miss talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! In general. Aside from, obviously, in Prague and in all these different series, we get to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! But I think just on a broader sense, I really just miss being able to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! In any single capacity. And I think a lot of you have expressed similarly that you miss that type of content that's, more raw in nature, not necessarily like this big spectacle where it is just purely a discussion-based format. And so I don't know, like some of the best times I have playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like when I'm with my friends or people that also enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! And we're just kicking back and talking about just whatever comes to mind about the game, whether it's the anime, whether it's, formats we like or cards we think are cool or whatever it may be. I just genuinely enjoy talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! At the end of the day. And I sort of feel like part of that is missing from the channel, or at least has been missing from the channel, at least from my perspective. Now, for you all, if you all enjoy the series content that, is episodic in nature, I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. And I still like making that content. Like I said, I'm not trying to completely upheave everything you've come to expect up until this point. But I think it's more about just the next transition into what I want to do next. And so there's so many other avenues of content through Yu-Gi-Oh! As a conduit that I feel like I want to either go back and revisit or explore in a completely different sense, right? Like with the 3v3 coming up for Las Vegas, and, MBT and Nim Nim and I are most likely going to team up again. At least I don't know why, because, if MBT actually wants to win, that's probably not the best idea. But in any case, with that coming up in towards the end of February, I'm recording this at the 1st of January, I think it would be fun to be able to actually breathe life back into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Even if it's for a very short stint of playability, just rekindle that love for competitive Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is ultimately how we built up this channel in the first place, was sort of acting as that fixing point or that transition point between like the casual and competitive player. You know, I was never the best player by any means, but I was always really good at conveying like the news and information from the competitive scene, like over to the more casual side, so people could always be up to date, right? That's sort of how we got to where we are. I want to really possibly explore stuff a lot with Edison, right? Edison's something that I've recently fallen in love with, and I think the format is a ton of fun, and it's also a nice bridge for a lot of players of all skill levels, or especially players who are just more recently learning about Yu-Gi-Oh! And really want to get into it. I think it acts as a nice bridge to teach players fundamentals of the game before really having them dive in like head first into the craziness that is our card game, because Yu-Gi-Oh! I personally believe has the steepest learning curve out of any card game that exists, just because there's so much to be thrown at you at once. But aside from that, I think Edison has a ton of depth, and it sort of just reminds me of classic older Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it is, but there's such a wide variety of different decks you can play, and I think a lot of people, especially as they learn more about the format, it's something that they can genuinely enjoy as, you know, either something they decide to pursue as their main way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Or even just on the side. And so I think it'd be fun to like make content about that, and that's something that I haven't really had the opportunity to do. I think really what I'm trying to say here is that I got so tunneled, no joke intended, on trying to just continue making the different series that I sort of lost sight of just like the genuine enjoyment I have for all the different aspects of the game. I even have, and some of the content creators that you all love, aside from myself, they know that I have some larger aspirational projects that require several of us to work together in order to do. And obviously, that's always going to be a massive undertaking because we all have radically different schedules. And so finding one point for 5, 6, 7, 8 people to align, you know, their schedules for a couple hours to record something, it's obviously a tall ask. And so there's a lot of things I really want to do just outside of the typical norm of content. And I think I've sort of carved out that mold that I've sort of shaped my channel around for the past several years. And I think just to an extent got comfortable with that, but now I sort of want to break out of that mold and really just shake things up a bit, really just shake up the foundation of what you guys have come to expect over the past few years, and just continue having fun with Yu-Gi-Oh! At the end of the day. So I think for me, I'm making this sound a lot more dramatic than it actually is the more that I'm thinking about it. I'm not saying that we're going to just completely revamp every single aspect of the channel. No, like we're still going to have series stuff. It's more about two things. It's more about one, sort of the philosophical shift in what I want the identity of the channel to be. And for those of you who are watching this may not seem that big of a deal. It may seem like rather innocuous, but I think for those who are more content oriented or who are in the content creator space, I think they may understand where I'm coming from this. But I think the other aspect to consider is it's really just about how else we can just keep having fun playing the game at the end of the day. And so I think I ultimately want to find more ways for you to keep enjoying Yu-Gi-Oh! Content. I think one of the things that a lot of you have told me that I excel at is finding new and creative ways to get people into the game who may have played in the past or who may have not played at all, but then there's this way for them to onboard them, even if it's in a very simplistic sense, like progression, like Masochist. You know, it's really just exploring what other avenues are out there. And so I think the more observant of you may have realized that Prague hasn't gone live today, and for those of you who might be patrons, you may have noticed that I'm completely blanking. The early access previews also haven't gone live either. And the reason for that is because I'm undergoing all these changes, I decided to take off this first week of January to really just prepare for everything that's coming in the future. And so that's getting a bit ahead in some of the recordings for some of these episodes, really trying to just figure out how I want everything to work out. Also getting something situated, because while I don't want to spoil everything for you all, I can say for you Masochist lovers out there that I have decided that we are going to start live streaming Master Duel Masochist over on Twitch, because if we're going to make a run for Diamond, we're going to have to play an obscenely just gigantic amount of games, and it's going to be an absolute climb. And so I figure I'm just going to be sitting here recording the games anyway. You guys might all enjoy the experience of seeing me suffer behind the scenes, and if you enjoy just watching the YouTube videos once a week, because it usually goes up on Thursday, then that's okay. You can choose to watch the video just as it is. That's not going to change. But this is for the people who want to see everything happen in real time. And yeah, there's going to be a massive just difference in terms of where the live streams might be at versus like where the videos are going to be. But we can also remedy that possibly by maybe uploading Masochist twice a week. I don't want to commit to that, but, you know, if the demand is there, we could do it. In any case, I feel like adding that live streaming element to everything would make it a lot more fun, because then when those super hype moments happen, like when we do hit like a new rank, or if we get like some absurdly ridiculous win, that you guys can be there to enjoy that. So if you're not already following me on Twitch, I would highly recommend it. I'll have the links down in the description. It's just twitch.tv/Cimoooooo. It's like the same thing on every other social. But in any case, just something like that. That's something that you have to look forward to. And that's a radical change from the perspective for me, because I really don't live stream. And so that's going to be something that you guys get to enjoy. That's something that is new in that sense. But there's a lot of other content that I have in the works, and it should be coming out next week if everything goes as planned. And I'm just really excited. I'm excited to see what 2024 has in store. If you guys have any other suggestions for type of content that you would want to see, I'm always open to hearing anything that you guys have to say. I do read all the comments, even if I don't respond to many of them. So just so you guys know. But I do think that 2024 is going to be a really fun year for Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a lot to look forward to in all aspects of the game, whether you just solely are a purveyor of content, if you're someone who actually plays the game, there's a lot to look forward to right now. There's a lot of cool sets and stuff coming out, and I think the game just continues to grow at a rate that I think if you look back maybe like a decade, it's kind of crazy to think that the game is still going on, all things considered. I mean, what, we just hit the 25th anniversary, right? So I don't know. I think I might just be rambling at this point, but the main purpose of this video, and you'll also see me post probably like a TLDR version either on social media, like on the community page or on Twitter, all the main social media channels. The purpose is to just sort of let you know where things are at with the channel. I haven't really done like a raw video like this with you guys in quite some time, so I think it was just fun to do that. And I also wanted you guys to know that since I am going to be taking this week to sort of prepare for everything for the following, you know, not just next week, but for the next several months and possibly even years, depending on the way things go, I just wanted you guys to know that there's going to be a lull in the content just for this specific week. So you know that I didn't just completely go off the grid or anything. I feel like it's important to communicate that to you guys. So in any case, again, thank you guys so much for all the support over the continued years. Like I said, it's been 10 years, and it feels like it's just flown by, and I couldn't be more grateful for all of your guys' support for over all this time. So thank you so much. Happy New Year. Like I said, we're taking this week off, but next Monday should be business as usual. Prague will go up, and let's just say it's one of everyone's favorite episodes, considering it is Secrets of Eternity. I'll just go ahead and leave it at that. I know you guys are waiting to massively just type the copy pasta in the comments, but again, thank you guys so much for everything. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday. Have a happy New Year, and let's kick some ass in 2024.